Hello everyone. Here we are with the Google/Asus Nexus 7 tablet, a 7-inch tablet running the Google Android operating system Jelly Bean 4.1. Okay, so spec-wise, what are we looking at here? Well, it's a 7-inch screen running at 1280 by 800, so that makes it HD. It's actually slightly higher than 720p, and that gives you a pixels per inch of 216, which is not massive, you know, you're not talking retina. It has a backlit IPS display. That means that you're going to have a very bright picture. Still not brilliant outdoors, but it's good enough. Scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass coating. Now this is only Gorilla Glass 1 from what I can tell, so don't go at it with a chisel, will you? But you should be good for a bit of money in your pocket, keys, what have you, if it scratches against it, or any light abrasions that may occur whilst you're using it. 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera. There is no rear-facing camera on this unit. For whatever reason, probably cost, they decided to leave one out. The front-facing camera is 1.2 megapixels, but it's not very good. Great for Skype, you're not going to want to take any holiday snaps with that camera. Overall weight, 340 grams. So if you put that against something like a Samsung Galaxy S3 at around 136 grams, you're talking around twice the weight. It's not overly heavy. You can use this device one-handed and feel quite comfortable with it. It's not like an iPad where you're always going to want to keep two hands on it just in case it tips out of your grip. Memory-wise, you're looking at 8 or 16 gigs worth of memory, and it's not expandable. Okay, there is no SD card slot in this device. Really, the Nexus 7 tablet is aimed to be a cloud storage-based device. So you've got 16 gig of storage on your pad, but then if you're going to be storing anything, you're going to pop it up into the cloud and then stream it back down. Or store it in Google Play if you've purchased it from there and just retrieve it when you need it. These devices are not designed to hold, you know, all of your most precious memories or anything like that. It very much relies on the cloud storage side of things to keep long-term data, as it were. Things like apps, you can just download them again when you need them. The actual internal memory for system memory is 1 gig. That is pretty ample, actually. I found that running even games like Bard's Tale, which has used a huge amount of system resources, and big textures, etc., never even sweats it. 1 gig is more than ample on the Nexus 7. Your battery, the most important part of any tablet. Your battery is 4,325 milliamp. She'll run for 9 hours of HD video playback, 10 hours of web browsing, and 10 hours of e-reading, 300 hours on standby. In real terms, I would say you're looking more into 7.5 hours of video watching. Key to all of this is how bright is your screen at the time, and have you got anything else running in the background like GPS that's going to drain your battery. If to get 9 hours of HD video playback, you're pretty much talking about turning your Wi-Fi off, dropping the brightness down to the lowest setting, closing all background tasks that might be running and chewing up memory, etc. The CPU, quad-core Tegra 3 processor. This thing is a beast for gaming. You're looking at a processor that is designed specifically for gaming on the go. The overall size of the unit, 198.5mm by 120mm by 10.45mm. It makes it pretty thin, not quite iPad 2, iPad 3 thin, but approaching it. But obviously a much smaller overall profile. The footprint, as we call it. Your wireless is 802.11b G and N. So if you've got a MIMO style router, 2 antennas, it will connect to that and use the full speed quite happily. And it has built-in Bluetooth as well, which is a 2.1 ED profile, I believe. So it should be good for all of your wireless audio, as well as things like Bluetooth keyboards, mice, etc. Micro USB is on the bottom, and it's running Android 4.1, which is the latest update from Google. Features-wise, extras. You have microphone, joy. Those are noise cancelling, by the way. NFC, which is a major plus point on any kind of device these days, with mobile wallet payments and quick beam and so on becoming more popular. Accelerometer, necessary for any kind of game that requires to understand orientation. The GPS, a magnometer, and gyroscope, really just rounding out the features there that you would find on a standard mobile phone. Let's take a look at the hardware itself. So as you can see here, very bright, beautiful looking screen. If we just turn this device onto its edges, you can see quite a thin profile. There is one of the noise cancelling microphones there. There's actually one on the top and one on the side, so that depending on which orientation you're holding the device in, you'll always be covering both of the microphones. So there's always one spare. On the back of the device, On the back of the device, we have quite a nice rubberized finish. It actually is quite grippy. It doesn't feel too slippy like the S3 can. And also, to be honest, the iPad 3 feels a little bit slippy in the hands at times. Asus logo on the back, and there is the speaker grille, the all-important speaker grille. They've made it quite big and beefy. If you're in a room with just a couple of people, it's very, very loud. If you're, say, out and about in town or something like that, not the loudest. You're not going to be listening to it in a restaurant or something like that, or McDonald's. It just doesn't quite have enough bass to it for my liking, but that's what you get when you have a reasonably priced tablet, but with, you know, obviously a single speaker grille, as it were. I'm not too sure if that's mono or stereo, to be honest. It sounds fairly mono, then remixing. But anyway, serial number on the bottom there. They didn't put my sticker on particularly well. And on the base, headphone jack on the bottom, and your mini USB. Having the headphone jack on the bottom, bit awkward if you're trying to listen to music, say with the pad in your pocket. I've actually found that I can get this device in my overcoat without a problem, but then trying to listen to music on it, not good at all. Just the orientation when you then want to get it out of your pocket, if you want to change tracks quickly, not going to work for you particularly well, just because of where that orientation is. You then have to have the pad in, the upside down, rotating the top of the device. You can see the front-facing camera here. And on the side, you have power and your volume rockers. And that is pretty much all of the features, as it were, on the hardware side of things. And that's pretty much all of the hardware features, as it were, on this device. Let's delve into the software a little bit. So, as I say, this comes with Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. This is the latest and greatest operating system from Google for the Android devices. Incredibly fast. One thing that they really pushed for with Jelly Bean is to make Android a lot quicker and feel more responsive. So part of that is Project Butter, which is the speed at which interface elements are able to redraw onto the screen. Everything is now aligned across the hardware, the software, and the display redraw. So you now find that things are very, very quick and responsive. You're moving through menus at lightning speed all of the time. Very little pause or waiting around with this device. Add to that the Tegra 3 processor, and from a gaming perspective, you're looking at a really, really solid piece of kit. Let's take a quick look in settings. So, for instance, if we go into battery, in here you can see what's been drawing the most power from the system. Screen 62%, and 20 hours on, 82% discharged. Much more power efficient, I find, Jelly Bean, to be honest with you. The account system is now more logically laid out as well. So within your Nexus now, each of the accounts for various services you use are listed under accounts. They're not buried in accounts, then in another row of settings. Much easier to go in and just quickly tweak something if you want to. Language, location services, security, things have just generally been a bit rearranged. Data usage is still here as well, so you can see what's costing you the most for data downloads. There is going to be a 3G version of the Nexus 7 released probably at the end of October. That will include a 3G wireless signal, so that if you have a mobile phone contract, you can pop a mobile phone SIM in and then get data on the go. Other than that, you are locked just down to Wi-Fi on the Nexus 7 currently. Okay, let's have a quick look at a game on here. Let's have a look at Grand Theft Auto 3, 10th Anniversary Edition. Well-known title, graphically quite fantastic on a mobile device, for obvious reasons. It's a PlayStation game running on a mobile device. They've upgraded the textures, lighting and so on, so it's generally a lot more crisp than the original versions would have been. On the PlayStation 2, let's have a look at the opening in cinematic, because it tends to be quite groovy. If you've tried this game on older devices, you'll know how the game can sometimes stutter and stall. You'll see here it's really fluid, all those camera motions, camera shake and so on, working really nicely. On HTC Desire, for instance, it was pretty much unplayable.
Small time.
The Nexus 7 makes a fantastic portable gaming device. Why would anyone buy a PS Vita when this is $199? Do you know what I mean? It kind of boggles the mind, really. There's so much more flexibility, so much more you can do with this. And, you know, gameplay and graphics wise, we're waiting for developers just to up the quality of their textures, up the quality of their lighting in the titles, and you're looking at something that will approach, you know, PS Vita style. Sure, maybe not at 60 frames a second all of the time, but blimey, gameplay's a lot better in most cases.
The bridge itself severely damaged. Some of the convicts are thought to have perished in the explosion that followed the initial attack. Revelations as to the professionalism of the attack struck police hours afterward, when identification of the missing felons were further hampered by an attack by computer hackers on police headquarters databases. With the Porter Tunnel project falling behind schedule, this disaster leaves Portland isolated from the rest of the city.
Let's go boom.
Come on! Señor Dickhead! It's no problem.
As you can see, the graphics are just fantastic. Let's just skip into a little bit of gameplay.
I know a place on the edge of the red light district where we can lay low, but my hands are all messed up, so you better drop, brother.
As you can see, it's nice and smooth. No stuttering particularly there. Previously, when you started driving off the line on other devices, you saw a bit of stutter, especially coming into this first bend. Very smooth, very responsive, just as it needs to be. So there you are. The Nexus 7 is a fantastic all-round tablet, and it also makes for a fantastic gaming device. The Tegra 3 chip really, really moves.